Good day to all the candidates, whether you're a first-time candidate or this is your 20th election. This is not normal information, so really appreciate you all being here with us. And Sarah got us all started with explaining your first steps. I'm going through the contributions. Van will be going through the expenditures, and Jenny will be going through the reporting requirements, which are really and truly, you're going to have to report everything. So make sure you're keeping track of absolutely everything, contributions and expenditures. So I'm Ralph Lusher, and I am the staff attorney at Ohio School Boards Association, and happy to be here with you. The only caveat to this this segment about contributions is that if you are planning on spending absolutely no money aside from the filing fee out of your own pocket, or if you are only all the expenditures will be out of your own pocket as the candidate, then you don't need to pay any attention to the contribution factor because you won't be soliciting contributions. That being said, we're going to go through the different types of contributions, and before that, all contributions are actually defined in statute in 3517. And not only are contributions defined, what are termed as, we call them non-contributions, but the revised code just states that they are not considered contributions, are also in that same code. Again, this is also just an overarching theme. If you want more information, much more detailed information, please come to one of our candidate workshops that'll be coming in the fall. So beginning with the contributions, we actually open with the two that aren't allowed, anonymous contributors. So anonymous contributions are not allowed according to statute. So what exactly is an anonymous contribution, right? So if someone comes up to you, let's say it's your uncle comes up and says, hey, here's $50 for your campaign. I really like what you're doing. I like everything, but you know, my sister's also running. So can you make this anonymous? The answer is no. You know, the contribution came from your uncle, and you can put his name and address down in the 31A form, which is where you put all of the contributions. With that, the other scenario that might arise is that somebody puts $20 in your mailbox with a note that says, you know, good luck on your campaign. And the statute specifically says that you have to make effort to find out who the anonymous contributor was. And beyond that, whenever you're filling out the Form 31A, you actually also have to state why you were unsuccessful in finding out who the contributor was. You may be a fantastic detective and put it on Facebook, and somebody said, oh, that $20 came from me. But more than likely, you're probably not going to find out in that scenario. So you still just have to report it, showing your effort and how your efforts failed. So the next one is contributions from minor children. So minor children does not mean under 18, like you might be thinking. It's actually under 7. Under 7, you cannot accept contributions. 6 3/4, sorry, can't take your $5 that your grandma gave you in your Christmas card. Nope, you have to be over 7 to donate to or contribute to a campaign. Not sure too many people are donating to campaigns at that age, but you never know. Some people start young. Then contributions from candidates, meaning yourself. So when you give money to you can just give money to your campaign. And by the way, it's no longer your money at that point once it goes to your campaign. But if you give money to your campaign, it is up to the campaign to use it for election purposes. What ends up happening a lot is with candidates buy stamps or posters or magnets or whatever the case is, and then donate them to their campaign. Those are called in-kind contributions, which actually we'll get to on the next slide. And they're still going to need to be recorded as a type of contribution. But the only caveat to this is that if let's say you're a candidate that gets plenty of contributors. People really want you on the Board of Education, and people donate to your funds all the time. So you're thinking, I don't need to have my personal funds pay for everything. You need to make sure that it goes in as a debt, not a contribution, so that you actually do get reimbursed for those stamps or for the posters or whatever the good or service might be. So please make sure in your campaign that you are notating the difference between when you are contributing something and when you plan on being reimbursed for it, so that it's actually a debt. The last one is public employees. So can you accept contributions from public employees? The answer is yes, you can. However, you cannot solicit contributions from public employees. Imagine how awkward it would be that you came up to a teacher as a board member. Let's say, you're the incumbent, and you come up and say, would you like to contribute to my campaign? Wink, wink, if you want that contract renewed. Obviously, you don't want that awkward situation. If somebody voluntarily wants to contribute to your campaign, they can do so, but you cannot solicit from public employees, and teachers are public employees. So moving on to types of contribution. So cold hard cash is always accepted by campaigns. However, you cannot take more than $100 in cash into your campaign. That's right. If they give you $150, you have to give them $50 back. So when we're saying cash, we are only referencing dollar bills, coins, not checks. We're only referencing cold hard cash. So then we get to in-kind contributions that was mentioned regarding as a candidate. So in-kind contributions are non-monetary contributions for goods or services. And again, postage, signs, and free office space, for instance, is an in-kind contribution. So with those, the only thing that does kind of get a little bit tricky is you actually do have to call it the fair market value. So you do have to figure out the fair market value of the free rent that you're getting on the office to hold your campaign, right? So, and again, as the candidate, please make sure note the difference between an in-kind contribution and a debt. So then we get to what we call non-contributions. Like I stated, we're calling them non-contributions. The Ohio Revised Code solely states these are just not contributions. Okay, so, and they are, the different services that people provide, their time. For instance, you have volunteers that work on your campaign and spend an hour putting postage on postcards. That is considered a non-contribution. Let's say somebody else, what's called ordinary home hospitality, AKA somebody throws a fundraiser for you at their home. You don't have to, that's not considered a contribution to your campaign. Then we get to fundraisers. So the main thing that you want to take away from the fundraiser contributions is that you're allowed to, for reporting purposes, please understand the huge difference here. For reporting purposes, you can put all of the contributions in aggregate, meaning you can put them all together from your fundraiser. However, when you're recording them, you still have to do the itemized, Paul Smith gave me $50, Susan Willis gave me, $20. You still have to have it recorded that way, but for reporting purposes, you can submit them in aggregate. The only other thing that I did forget to mention is back on people that contribute. The one group that cannot contribute are companies. And we're not going to get into the weeds of this, but companies can't, according to Revised Code, donate to political campaigns. However, they can donate to political action committees. And I don't want to get into the weeds about like if something's a partnership, an association, yada, yada. But just in general, companies cannot donate to campaigns. So some additional resources are the Get On Board website. There's plenty of resources on there that Ohio School Boards Association has created, as well as we also have, in the fall, we'll have candidate workshops coming up. And please register for those. They are a wealth of information. And like I said, much more detailed. And then one of the other great sources, the Secretary of State website, if you decide to campaign, will become your friend, because you need a million different forms on there, and where to look everything up. For instance, if your city or municipality puts a cap on how much you can take in as far as contributions, different things like that. There's no state law for that, but your city or municipality may. So anyways, checking your county boards of election for those through the, and you can find those through the Secretary of State. It's a fantastic resource. And lastly, please visit us on one of the many social media sites that we have: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Our website has just a plethora of knowledge on it. And you can contact any of us if you also have questions. My email is at the bottom, and everybody else in the legal division will have theirs at the bottom of theirs as well. So really appreciate you joining with us, and have a great rest of your day.